see somebody you'd help kind of detain, arrest, now being on a plane, being traded for American spies. So I wrote this book called HONEYPOTS for Windows, and again, I'm working for Microsoft, and I get hired by a really popular think tank to install honeypots. And a honeypot is a system that is designed to catch hackers and malware. It can be really any system, it can be a fake system, it can be a real system, but its only purpose is to see, like, will a hacker try to log into it? If they do log into it, what do they do while they're on it? So this think tank is doing military projects, top secret government projects, political projects. If I said the name, everybody would know this company's name, but they were worried that they may be being hacked. So they hired me to come in and teach members of this team how to create and deploy multiple honeypots into what's called a honey net so that they can detect and try to see if they're being infiltrated from the outside. And so I set this up, we put it into action, and it's a really common thing when I create these honeypots, and we'd made a couple of them look like database servers and web servers and things like that, and you put them in the same places as the Windows servers and the database servers and the web servers and stuff like that. And I remember the guy saying, well, how do we attract the hackers to these honeypots? And I was like, you don't have to. Every time I've ever set up a honeypot, if there's bad people or there's malware, they come to it. You don't have to advertise it. They're always looking to break into stuff. But you can tell they are very skeptical. Well, we came in the next day, and sure enough, one of the web servers was broken into by a hacker, but it wasn't an external hacker, it was an internal hacker. And as a matter of fact, what we traced it to was a young Russian woman that was sitting in the payroll department that did payroll processing. And they already had a camera in there because it was the payroll department, so they already had a camera in back of them, and we were able to watch her doing hacking, and she was one of the most skilled hackers I've ever seen. But per her boss, she was an untrained, didn't have a lot of computer skills. They'd actually sent her to typing school and to computer usability school so she'd learn how to use computers. We actually watched her as she hacked around the company, and we could even see that she was transmitting information wirelessly to someone that showed up in a public conference room. There was this public conference room, big conference room that hold hundreds of people. It was like an auditorium, and people would show up and use it as a meeting space all the time. And she was transmitting. This was an air-gapped network, and she had opened the computer, inserted her own wireless card, and was transmitting to somebody that was inside of that conference room area, presentation room. But we watched her for a couple of days. Really, really good hacker. We even created a couple more web servers. We wanted to find out what was their intent. And around that time, there was a lot of people that were using servers for gaming stuff. Like they'd break in and take over the server and put, I think it was Minecraft was the big game at the time. And legitimate admins in the company were frequently using computers to have the resources to play this game. So I created a web server that was a Minecraft server. I created one that was about Middle East policy because that was a big thing the company did. And I created another one that was about the NASA space shuttle. And we made all the directory structures and everything look like it was all top secret stuff. We gave all the files top secret names. We gave the directories top secret names. So really all we did was do a one-for-one copy from the public website of NASA about the space shuttle. But then in the process of that, we'd take this public document and this public website and act like it was top secret stuff and top secret names. And we put it out there overnight, and sure enough, she went after the space shuttle stuff and the Middle East stuff, not the gaming stuff. So we knew this is somebody that had intent to learn about information from this company. So I was there when they detained her. They didn't arrest her, it wasn't police, but it was company resources, security officers coming to detain her. As soon as we walked in, and she was in the middle of hacking, she immediately stopped and goes, "I don't know what my computer is doing." You know, and she was crying, and she could have been a Hollywood actress trying to win an Academy Award, because had we not watched her for days hacking, I would have been convinced that there was somebody that was in control of her computer. And what we learned was that she came from this Russian-owned payroll firm. Essentially, the whole firm was full of spies. It turned out that there were other companies I knew that used the same payroll company, and they were all spies. And then it was kind of weird. About 2 weeks later, I got to see the woman that I'd been involved in collecting evidence on and helping her get detained being sent to Russia along with 15 other spies, including many people out of her payroll company, including there's a famous redheaded Russian spy that was like so famous she ended up in like Playboy magazine and stuff like that. But she was on that, so it was kind of weird to see somebody you'd help kind of detain, arrest, now being on a plane, being traded for American spies. So that was kind of interesting, where it went from them being worried about outsiders to it being internal attacker, and then it ended up being, hey, the whole firm that you were hiring this contract worker from was really just a spy front for the Russians.